What's up, beautiful people? I know you can't really see me. You can't really see me, and I don't want to put the camera light on because not the camera light. I don't want to put the car light on because it's I don't want people in my business right now. This is enough business sharing. So my name is Corwin L. Gilliams. This is CLG Lifestyle, influencing you to love self. Thank you for supporting. Thank you for being a part of my live right now. You could be anywhere else in the world, but you're here with me. And so if you're new, I am a lifestyle influencer slash life coach slash content creator. I'm following my dreams. I'm pursuing the things that God has placed in my heart while becoming the man that He has created me to be by being transformed by the renewing of my mind and getting an understanding as to what His good, acceptable, and perfect will is for my life. And so I've been I talked about being more transparent about my life. As a lifestyle influencer, I believe that it's important to share the good, the bad, and the ugly. You don't have to share everything, but I do believe it's important that. Thank you for joining the live. If you want to support my live, greatly appreciated. I do believe as a lifestyle influencer, it's important for you to share the good, the bad, and the ugly. You don't just share the good things. You don't just share the beautiful things. You don't just share, the things that people want to see. I think, it's good to have a balance because people are going through essentially possibly the same thing that you're going through, maybe in a different way or in a different environment or with different people. But hurt is still hurt, pain is still pain, depression is still depression, sadness is still sadness. Broke is still broke. You understand me? So I think it's important to see people see you from the ground up and see, okay, if you can make it, then I can make it. It doesn't matter what your background is. It doesn't matter what your experiences are. If you make it, I can make it. If I make it, you can make it. And so I just wanted to come on here and, so I had shared in a short earlier today that I had been in a shelter for a year and 6 months. This was a shelter that is in Wilmington, California. It's a southern city in California. And so when I came to California in 2020, I came to California again, believing that this was the place that God had called me to be in, and I still believe that. However, it wasn't easy, right? It's been a struggle. I'm not going to sugarcoat it. It's been a struggle when it comes to finances, when it comes to having stability, when it comes to having a secure place to lay my head, right? Nonetheless, I'm still alive, still, healthy, still strong, still going. It could always be worse. And so I ended up at this shelter. This was the second shelter that I was at. The first one I was in there for like 6 months. What happened was, I had some, at the time it was like, what is it called? I had unemployment. I was getting unemployment. And at the time, it had ran out, right? So I ended up having to go to the shelter because I just didn't have, well, one, it was kind of like maybe I didn't plan right. Maybe, maybe I didn't plan right. Maybe it was an experience that I had to experience. I'm not sure. But I know that, people say, well, wow, I've never been homeless. I've never been in a shelter. Good for you. Good for you. And it's not something that I would suggest that you experience if you don't have to. Things happen for people differently, but for me, you know, it was something that happened that I experienced. And I was at this first shelter for like 6 months or so because I didn't have anywhere else to go. I moved to California. I don't have any family here, no friends, no nothing, right? So I had to figure it out on my own. And so I ended up at this shelter for about 6 months, and then I ended up leaving out because I felt like it was time to go. It was time to move on. It was time to dust myself off and try again. So what happened was it was interesting. So it was around tax time. It was around tax time. That's what it was. And I just so happened to have like, I think I had like $50 or something that I was able to book an Airbnb, a room shared Airbnb that was like $25 a night or something like that. And no. What happened was, I think I had while I was there, I had acquired, when you're in a shelter, right? If you do like some type of work therapy, they give you like some funds or whatever. So I think what happened was I had acquired some funds that I was able to use for a room sharing space. A room sharing space is basically you're sharing a room with, it could be as much as 6 people, sometimes 4 people, maybe 2 or 3 or 4. But it's a one room and you have multiple people in the room, and that's supposed to, make rent cheaper, right? If you can't afford rent, maybe you're on some type of governmental assistance, or maybe you're just starting off, you relocated and you don't have a job that you can pay $2,000 a month for rent. So whatever savings you have, you can use that money at basically a hostel. That's another term that maybe is more popular. It's a hostel. And so I was in that hostel where now I was able to get a job. I worked at a restaurant, Honey's Kettle restaurant, amazing restaurant, amazing food, black owned. I did that for some months, and then again I felt like it was time for me. Like, I just felt restless, I just felt uncomfortable. I felt like that space, no, I no longer, I felt like I didn't need to be there anymore. So that had me now transition to another job as a digital stylist for a menswear company that provides uh, subscription boxes for men who, and sometimes women. We've had women clients who dress with men's clothing, who don't have the time to shop. So we curate fashion boxes for them to be able to, have their items delivered to them, as opposed to them going to stores and whatever to shop. And so I did that for like maybe like 6 months, and then they had to relocate. They decided to relocate to a place that was further than where I was living. I was living in Long Beach at the time, and I didn't have a car. So that when they relocated, I just had to resign, basically was laid off. So that allowed me to get some unemployment. Now, again, the time that unemployment came through, I had to, it was too late. I had to move on. So where was I to go, right? I don't know. I didn't know at the time, and I mean, I don't know. I haven't, kudos to those who have gotten to a space in their life where you can not be bothered or stressed about things such as where you're going to eat, what you're going to eat, where you're going to sleep, and what you're going to wear. I know the Lord talks about this in his word. Like, why do we care about these things? We shouldn't worry about these things because he cares for us. But many of us have been programmed to just rely so much on people, places, and things that, when the Lord is trying to strip you from that, and trying to have you trust him and believe him for your provisions, even if it's supernatural provisions, that can be challenging. And I think that's one of the things that the Lord had to, and has been working on me on has been working with me on, is being able to trust him, trust him more than I usually do. And so anyway, the unemployment didn't come at that point fast enough. So the people asked me to leave. So I left. No fight, no nothing. So where was I to go? God knows. I left with a bag. I think I had like a backpack. No, I left with, yeah, I left with I just had a bag and the clothes on my back. That was it. Because I wasn't gonna carry stuff with me. You understand me? I didn't have a car. I didn't have storage. I didn't have none of the things that, you know, that would have provided me the opportunity to um, carry a bunch of stuff. So I left with the clothes on my back and backpack. Went to this place called the MSC Multi Service Center in Long Beach. They're supposed to be some type of homeless resource center. I didn't really get any help there outside of maybe some food. I don't think I showered. They do have showers there. I don't think I showered there. But so I did that, and I ended up, because I ended up sleeping in the time. So I was asked to leave that place over like the weekend, right? It was like a Saturday or maybe a Friday evening or something like that. And organizations like that, government places, they do Monday to Fridays. They don't do weekends. So when they gave me the information to when I finally got the information, it was a Friday. I finally got the information to go to a um a shelter, right? By the time I got to that shelter, they had already stopped doing intakes. This was a shelter that I was in for a year and 6 months. They they stopped doing intakes at 1. I got there like at 2 or whatever, right? So I ended up having to sleep. There was a park nearby. I ended up sleeping till the next day, and they were able to do my intake, and that's essentially how I got into that place. And I was there for a year and 6 months. Much growth, much transformation. Um, and like I said, I learned a lot. And so I recently moved. So during that time of me being there, I had a lot to think about, a lot of plans, a lot of, reflection. And I served as if I was working a job at that place. From dinners, cooking and preparing breakfast from scratch most times. Um, Cleaning, receptionist, front desk, newsletter, folding and mailing, grocery shopping for the food, interacting, just exercising the gift of hospitality, serving, serving in any which way that I was permitted. There were many ways, in other ways that there were ways that I wanted to serve that I wasn't allowed to, as far as like, other stuff creatively when it comes to like creating newsletters and stuff like that. And even like to do have like a job, I was so open to that, but I was never offered an opportunity or nothing like that. And again, this is not feel to say that I feel slighted or that I feel any type of way. As I told you in the beginning of this live, that I was grateful for that place because it taught me so much. I learned so much about people and the different walks of life when it comes to people and how people end up in these places. I was there myself. I was there a year and 6 months, and I've not had any hard drug usage or any type of situation like that, but I ended up there because that is where my mindset was. I that's where I believe I could go, to get the help that I needed. Now there could have been somewhere else I could have gone. Maybe I didn't even have to stay that long. But I was just so grateful for that place and so grateful to God, and I just was like, you know what, God, I'm just going to serve this place with the love of Christ, and you know that's it. You are my reward. You see what I've done, you see what I do, and I do it as I'm doing it unto you. And so many people would say, okay, well, you know what, they could have given you a job, this could have happened, they could have found you housing, they could have paid, at least for your first semester of school, a lot of things, you know potentially this place could have done, because you know God will show you. God will show you. Sometimes we want to give people the benefit of the doubt, but God will show you the heart of people and show you where they stand and how they really feel about you. And I would say this: there's no love lost. I love that place. I had planned and desire to serve in a different capacity, not as a homeless person anymore, but as a person who will acquire and achieve the promises of God for my life, and use that material blessing, whether it's money, whether it's the resources or relationships that I will acquire along the way, that can help transform that place and help them to be more impactful and generous for the community. Then that's what's going to be done. But at that point, I was no longer able to serve in the way that I've been doing for a year and 6 months. I had in that aspect, outgrowing that place, and felt like it was time for me to move on. So moving on, I so I start so again, as I said, that time had me reflect and figure out what it is that I really want to do with my life, what it is that God wanted me to do as far as Jeremiah 29:11. And so I started school, right? I started school on January 8th, excuse me, 2024. And everything just started to happen so quick. Like the school, um, coming into school, and then there was like now a transition of people who were more, I believe, to be more capable to facilitate the running of the mission. Even though I was a program member, I ran, like I said, I worked as if I was an employee. So I didn't see myself as a program member or as a homeless person doing work therapy or doing just a little bit to get by. I serve wholeheartedly. I serve with my heart, and most importantly, I serve with the character I believe God would be happy with. In that, from the beginning to the end, I didn't, I didn't compromise my work ethic. I didn't, towards the end, because I was in school, I had to now allocate more time towards school, which was one of the reasons why I couldn't stay there anymore, is because they have their rules and expectations as to, if you're there, you have to be there basically almost all day. I think only a part-time job was allowed, but it just, at that point, like I said, the environment and just the peace and everything that I was desiring strongly, it just didn't work anymore. And so with school, you know, I just thought that it was time to move on. And so I started to look for housing and stuff like that. And the school gave me some housing referrals, but there was one housing opportunity, a co-living opportunity that I had come across that I was really, 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 really sure that it was going to come through based on the tour, based on what was discussed. I was also have been doing Lyft, but Lyft is just the Lyft program, the Lyft Drive Flex program. It's not it just it's not as what I it's not what I planned. It's not what I thought it would be. I was literally working like 40 hours a week. Like one week I did like 40, almost 40 hours, and I didn't even make the money that was required to pay for the rental that I used to actually drive. And I was just like, what? Wait, what? This is no, 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 no. This is not. I'm trying to get out of. I've gotten out of the rat race. I'm not trying to get back in the rat race. So with that being said, I'm still doing what I love to do, which is come on here and talk to you guys and be transparent and lifestyle influence as far as motivation, encouraging, and serving in this capacity. And just moving forward. So anyways, so it didn't, so that co-living opportunity didn't come through because, again, the money that I was making for Lyft, it wasn't enough. And the rent was $12.50 a month, okay? And then the school, I'm supposed to be getting a refund check at some point soon. Hopefully it's sooner than 45 days from the start date. They said 45 to 60 days from the start date. I started January 8th. God willing, something may come sooner. I don't know. But I'm just moving forward in faith. It's been stressful. I'm not going to deny it. It's been stressful. I've been anxious. I've been dealing with anxiety. I've been angry. I've been frustrated. I've been sad. I haven't cried yet. But it's just like, what else? Sometimes you get to the point like, what else? What am I supposed to do? Like, what have I done wrong? Like, what, and it's not you crying. It's not you being a baby. It's just like, you want to live right. You want to live right. You want to live righteously. You don't want to play the shiesty game, the grimy game. You don't want to be cutthroat. You don't want to do the things that, if you were to do these things, it would allow you to be in situations. People would actually like you. People would actually support you. People would actually look out for you if you was to play that type of game. But when you don't do that, it's like you have to go through all of these afflictions and all of this suffering, and it's like, I don't want to compromise that. I don't want to compromise my integrity. There are things that I'm not having perfected in this. You know what I'm saying? I have not perfected yet. I haven't been, I guess, completely delivered from yet. But what I have been delivered from, I don't want to go back to it. You know, I don't want to go back to a place where, again, I'm being around people just because, you know, they have stuff that I need, you know what I'm saying, or that they can help me, that I have to like kiss behind or do these different things just to make people like me. Like, I don't want to do that. I've been delivered from that, you know? Um, and so I've just been, you know, staying strong and wanting to ask God, like, what else? Like, why am I, why is it that I have to worry about what am I going to eat, or where am I going to stay, or where am I going to sleep, or where I'm going to wash my clothes, or how I'm going to repay this rental car thing because I haven't been doing Lyft. You know, I have all my stuff in here. Like, I can't. I'm not going to drive around picking people up with a car that has dirty clothes in it, or a car that looks like someone's been sleeping in it, you know. It's just a lot of stuff that I'm just like, what do I do? Like, what have I done? What have we done? You know, and when you really think about it, you want to cry, you're angry, you're all these different things, you know. And it's like, why? Like, what? Like, what am I doing wrong? What am I doing wrong? What have I done wrong? You know, I'm not saying that I've been perfect, but we repent, and I say my affirmations, I pray, I ask God, and I say the things that I believe God says I need to say. But it's like, Lord, what else? What else? I mean, the least I could, I should, the least I should have is you know, a shelter over my head, or a place that is mine. I mean, I've served that place for a year and 6 months, no, maybe a year and 7 months, and I wasn't expecting them to give me anything, but I'm saying, Lord, like, aren't you not going to honor my works? Are you not going to honor my faithfulness? Like, you going to have me out here looking crazy after telling these people that I was moving into my own place, which I truly believed in, and I didn't feel like I doubted it, or I had such peace. That's why I left. I mean, there were times I was like, oh, what am I doing? But I left with such peace, believing that I wasn't going to be put out like that. Nevertheless, we're going to keep moving forward. You're going to keep moving forward. You're going to let out what you need to let out. You're going to cry. You're going to groan. You're going to just let it out. And you're going to move forward. And you're going to accomplish. You, something has to happen. Something got to break. Something got to happen for you. Keep doing good. Keep doing good. Keep doing good. Keep loving. Keep loving. Keep loving. Continue to say affirmations. Continue to move forward. Beautiful people, thank you so much for listening. Again, if you want to support my platform, I left my Cash App in the title, and I'm also going to leave it in the description box of the live if it allows me to do so. Love y'all, and I'm gonna again keep recording, keep doing lives, videos, whatever it is, as I work towards manifesting the promises of God for my life. It hurts. It's sad. Sometimes it's frustrating. It's all the things. It's all the things that the human experience encounters and know. But Jesus said he came to give us life and life more abundantly. And I'm believing for that. And I pray that you believe for it in Jesus' name. And continue to believe for it in Jesus' name. Amen. Talk to y'all soon. Bye-bye.